Welcome back to our M252 mortar system progression videos. Today we're going to be covering the employment of a mortar section and a mortar platoon. Up until this point we have conducted all of our fire missions to include HE and illumination missions on a single gun. However, now we're going to start adding in the additional guns to make up a mortar section and a mortar platoon. First we're going to cover the mortar section. So the mortar section is typically comprised of two systems. A light infantry company will have two 60mm mortar systems with a 6-man team, a gunner, an assistant gunner, a second gunner and a second assistant gunner, a squad leader, and then a section leader. But in game 1.3 only provided us with the M252, so that's what we're going to use for today. So the mortar section, again, is comprised with the two mortar systems. This is typically your most mobile and survivable mortar element within an infantry battalion. They are able to get into smaller places. Obviously, we're in an open field here. However, this mortar team will be able to move in and employ right here in this little small area opening, fire their systems, and then move out as needed. And then you have a mortar platoon. The mortar platoon typically is comprised of 4x 81mm mortar systems, as we have depicted here, as well as 4x 120mm mortar systems, which, from my understanding, is going away in the light infantry battalions moving forward with the mobility brigade combat teams. However, for instruction purposes, we have 4 81mm mortar systems depicted here with a vehicle and a leader, which is myself in this truck to the rear. The next thing we're going to cover is the employment formations. So your mortar systems can be employed in really one of 3 formations. The line, which is side by side, pointing in the same direction. The lazy W, which is depicted here. Or a terrain-based setup, which I will depict here. The terrain-based setup, we're utilizing this wood line. Our direction of fire is going to be south and southeast, but this is only going to be used if we don't have good positioning in an MFP. So we're going to discuss the choice of MFPs, mortar firing point that is, and what you're going to want to look for when employing a mortar section and a mortar platoon. So the general distance between each system should be around 35 meters for the 81mm or the M252 medium mortar system. For the platoon, you're going to have 35 meters times 4, which would be roughly 140 meters. So you're going to need 140 meters of space in width for that distance. But to keep it safe, you typically want to go with 300 meters in distance. So that way you could take your mortar team or your mortar element, fire a mission, and then shift them to the opposite side of that wood line, so that way you're conducting survivability techniques. And again, your mortar section is going to be much more mobile and easier to emplace and move about. So they're going to fire, and they'll pick up, move across, and establish themselves on the far. And you're just going to keep bouncing in that open wood line or that open area back and forth until you're either mission complete or you have a hard displacement criteria. So again, they'll fire, move, fire, move, fire, move, and continue that until they receive a major displacement criteria, such as they're out of range or they receive counter battery from another indirect fire system. So again, we need 140 meters roughly in total to house these 4 mortar systems. For your mortar section, you only need about 70. Again, they're more mobile and able to be placed in these positions. But on the flip end, we have 4 mortar systems impacting compared to 2. To the far right will be your 1 gun. Middle right will be 2 gun. That is your base element, your base gun. This will be the one that you adjust your fire missions with. Your middle left will be 3 gun. That is your alternate base gun. And the chance that 2 gun cannot adjust the rounds, your 3 gun will. And then far left is your 4 gun. Your 1 gun and 4 gun are your flank guns. They're typically going to carry the illumination rounds and fire the illumination missions. Your 2 and 3 gun are typically your faster gunners, your faster teams, and they're gonna primarily house the HE rounds. As always, if you have any questions, place them in the comments below so I can provide some clarification. And then if you want to see something in a future video, go ahead and drop that down there as well. Until next time.